Hello, everybody. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Rodney Harris. Hope you're off to a good start to your Monday. We have two things to talk about today that I think you will enjoy. Well, one you will enjoy, one you probably won't. First, we're talking about our temperatures, which are definitely above average here. We are back into the upper 70s, if not 80 degrees this afternoon in Atlanta. So yesterday's high in Atlanta was 78. It'll be pretty close to that today, if not 80 itself. We're forecasting 79. And it's interesting because it was super chilly this morning with temperatures in the 40s. Some of you even dropping into the upper 30s. So you definitely needed the jacket this morning, but you will not need the jacket later on this afternoon for sure. It'll definitely be plenty cool out there, or excuse me, plenty warm out there for the rest of the day today. So 79 degrees, that's our high today in Atlanta. We will stay in the upper 70s for much of the afternoon. By 7 o'clock, we're in the low 70s if you're headed out to dinner. And then by the end of dinner, closer to 9 o'clock, temperatures are in the 60s. So all in all, a really decent day, completely clear skies. I do want to talk about the tropics because we have Tropical Storm Oscar, which is out there located right over eastern Cuba. So Oscar developed over the weekend, and last week we actually talked a lot about a tropical wave that was in the open Atlantic Ocean. We said that it may develop once it moved into the Caribbean, and that's exactly what happened over the weekend. It became Tropical Storm Oscar over the weekend. It was actually a hurricane before making landfall in Cuba. It is now weakened all the way down to a tropical storm again, and the winds have come down to 40 miles per hour. For perspective, a tropical storm has winds of 39 miles per hour, so this is barely a tropical storm. And the forecast throughout the morning has had this remaining a tropical storm. This may actually drop down to a tropical depression because it's still over Cuba. But once it moves northeast and gets back into the southwestern Atlantic Ocean, we are expecting it to become a tropical storm again. And it'll stay a tropical storm to at least the middle of the week, but it's moving away from Cuba at this point, and it will be moving northeast and away from the United States. But again, right now it's barely a tropical storm, so it may drop to a tropical depression. If that does happen, it should become a tropical storm again at some point today, going into Tuesday, once it gets back into the Atlantic. But either way, it will not be an impact on our forecast here in the U.S. It will move away from us. But we had Oscar, which is still out there. We also had Nadine, Tropical Storm Nadine, developed over the weekend in the Western Caribbean and then quickly moved into Central America. So with both of those storms over the weekend, we now have 15 total storms this season in the Atlantic Ocean. The average is 14, so we are officially above average with our storms this season, which was forecast. In terms of hurricanes, we've had 10, and that does include Oscar, which again was a hurricane over the weekend. So with 10 hurricanes, the average is 7. We are also above average with our hurricanes, and major hurricanes or hurricanes of at least Category 3, and we've had 4 of those so far this season. That is above the average for 3. So across the board, we're above average with this hurricane season, which we were forecasting. The good news is that we're at the end of October, and from this point forward, we typically start to see the number of storms developing go down as things start to cool off. We get more cold fronts that are moving away from the United States. That creates wind shear, makes it difficult for a lot of these storms to develop. So out in the open Atlantic, we may still get some stuff, but at this point, we start to see fewer and fewer storms through the end of hurricane season, which is November 30th. We'll keep you up to date, but at this point, again, no immediate threat to the U.S. So here is your forecast. And as you can see, this forecast won't change much. It's a really nice forecast for the end of October. Still chilly in the mornings with temperatures in the 50s, if not the upper 40s in the suburbs. But each afternoon, we're pretty close to 80 degrees, if not above 80 degrees. So every afternoon for the rest of the week, going into the weekend, looks really good. For most of this week, we stay completely clear. By the weekend, we do have a dry cold front that will be moving through. And because of that, you're going to notice an increase in clouds Saturday night going into Sunday. No rain with this front, but more clouds will certainly be out there. And the temperature will drop from 80 to 75 Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon. So that's really the difference between this cold front. That's the only real change in your 7-day forecast. Again, practically speaking, you're not going to really notice much of a difference. Still just really nice with plenty of sunshine each and every day. And highs in the upper 70s to near 80. What I do want to do here is take you beyond the 7-day forecast and talk about what you can expect next week, because next week now we're getting into Halloween, the beginning of November. So this is our outlook for the week of October the 28th through November 3rd. Again, this is next week beyond the 7-day forecast. And as you can see, we're forecasting temperatures to stay above average, not only in North Georgia, but really throughout like the entire eastern half of the country. So upper 70s, low 80s this week, and it looks like we will keep that trend of at least the 70s going next week as well. So as you kind of get ready for Halloween and start preparing for Halloween and what it is you're going to do, it does look like it'll it'll be an above average Halloween across North Georgia. The other thing we've been watching is the lack of rain. First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazi looked up some interesting research earlier this morning, some interesting statistics. We have not had any rain at all in Atlanta for the month of October. If we finish the month without any rain, it will be the driest month ever in the city of Atlanta. Not just the driest October, but the driest month on record. 0 rain. So that's never happened before. Again, the driest month on record in Atlanta if we don't get any rain by the end of the month. And it's not really looking that good. I mean, we're looking beyond the 7-day, and there may be a shower or two somewhere in the state like next Monday, but it's not looking promising for Atlanta. We're just in a pattern where we're not really getting any significant cold fronts. The cold front that will move through, as I mentioned before, will be a dry one. So with us staying dry and warm, there's just not that big of a change in this forecast to the end of the month and taking you into the beginning of November. But nonetheless, we'll be watching for you, and we'll certainly keep you up to date. Just talk with First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Valdez. She's working on an updated forecast for you for Atlanta News First at noon, so be sure to tune in for that. And, of course, you can always get your forecast on the First Alert weather app. We hope you guys have an amazing Monday, an amazing week, and until next time, we'll see you soon.